Hi everybody, my name's John Harrow from Aptis Tutor, the place to come to for everything Aptis exam related. And in this video we have some sample answers for an advanced Aptis speaking exam at a C1 level. If you like the video, then please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Any comment that you leave, we aim to get back to you as soon as possible. Remember, there's lots more information on our website too at www.aptistutor.com. The link is below. Hope you find it useful. Part 1. In this part, I'm going to ask you to compare two pictures and I will then ask you two questions about them. You will have 45 seconds for each response. Begin speaking when you hear this sound. What can you see in these two pictures?
The first shows a rainy evening in a modern city centre. It could be the USA, as the adverts are in English. The sky's overcast and the pavements are wet, so it must have been raining for some time. Most people are waiting to cross the road, though some are looking at clothes on a stall despite the rain. In the other photo there are three smiling girls enjoying a drink at the beach. I'd say they're close friends, as they've got their arms around each other. It looks as though they're celebrating something special. It's a gorgeous summer day, with a cloudless blue sky.
What type of weather do you prefer?
Like most people, I much prefer warm sunny weather and blue skies to rainy days, though I can't stand it when it gets too hot, especially if it's humid at the same time. Weather like that really saps your energy. It's hard to do anything except stay at home with the aircon on. So spring and autumn are my favourite seasons, I suppose. Having said that, I don't mind wintry weather as long as it's not too damp. If it gets a bit chilly, I just pop another jumper on. I prefer that to having the heating on all day, especially now that energy costs have gone up so much.
How do you think the weather influences people and why?
In my opinion, people's moods generally tend to reflect the weather. When we have clear skies and bright sunny days, it gives you a serotonin boost and you feel ready to face the world. People are quicker to smile, more relaxed, cheerful, and willing to stop and chat, which I think can really make your day. But of course, the opposite often happens when it's cold, wet, and miserable. You might find it hard to drag yourself out of your nice warm bed in the morning. You don't feel like going to work or being very sociable. And speaking personally, I usually have a very sluggish start to the day.
Part 2. In this part, you have 1 minute to think about your answers and 2 minutes to talk. You can make notes if you wish. Begin speaking when you hear this sound. How important is it to stay fit and healthy? What do people in your country do to stay fit? How do you think schools can promote healthy lifestyles for young people? You now have 1 minute to think about your answers. You can make notes if you want. You now have 2 minutes to talk.
Even though it's one of the most important things in life, being fit and healthy is probably something that we take for granted. I reckon most of us don't even think about it until it's too late. But if you don't look after your health, it could turn your life upside down. You could have difficulty doing everyday tasks and may have to rely on others to help you. So we should all make more of an effort to keep fit. What people do here to keep fit depends on the individual and on how much time and money they can afford to spend. I've no idea how many of us go to gyms, but as new ones are popping up all around town, they must be pretty popular. Also, I often see people jogging or doing yoga in the neighbourhood parks. Sometimes there are personal trainers running high-intensity interval training classes. I believe that the role of schools is crucial when it comes to instilling healthy lifestyle habits into young people. I saw on the news that one school in Scotland has started making their kids run 1.5 kilometres every day. The results are amazing. Not one of them is overweight now. What's more, teachers report that the students are settling into their lessons a lot faster than they used to, and seem to be happier too. Maybe we should do that here.
Part 3. You are going to speak on a topic for 1.5 minutes. You can see the topic on the screen and 2 lists of points, for and against, related to the topic. Choose 2 items from each list and give a balanced argument to represent both sides of the topic. You have 1 minute to prepare your argument. You will then have 1.5 minutes to speak. Begin speaking when you hear this sound. After you finish speaking, you will be asked an additional question about the topic and asked to speak for 45 seconds. You now have 1 minute to prepare your argument. You now have 1.5 minutes to talk.
Well, without a doubt, working a 4-day week is a very attractive prospect. Who wouldn't want such a long weekend? It's often argued that we spend far too much of our lives at work, so the thought of having more time to spend with your family or friends, or to dedicate to your hobbies, is very appealing. It's easy to imagine that most employees would be happier with a fairer work-life ratio, and that this would be reflected in their productivity at work. A win-win situation. On the other hand, we have to consider parents with school-aged children. Childcare is already very expensive, and having to pay for an extra day a week would be impossible for many families. A 4-day week would only work for them if schools did likewise. What's more, these days, technology means that we're often expected to work during our free time as it is, answering emails, making calls, attending Zoom meetings. In short, I can't help thinking that a shorter working week may actually turn out to be more stressful in the long run.
How do you think the working day will change in the future? What is your response to this question?
Since the pandemic, most people's working lives have already changed, and I'm sure this will influence the working day in the future. Flexibility will be key, both in terms of remote working versus face-to-face interactions, and regarding how working hours are allotted. I'm sure the typical 9-to-5 working day will become a thing of the past, and that we'll have more autonomy. Technology will play an even greater role, allowing us to have a more flexible timetable, rather than getting caught in the morning rush hour and wasting time when we could have been working.
If you like this video, then please subscribe to our channel. Leave a like, comment or question and we will answer you as soon as we can. More information and lots more practice is here on our website at www.aptistutor.com.